welcome to Geeks Around the Mic. I'm your host, Scott, and with me always is my partner in crime, Patrick.
Hello guys, I'm Patrick, and Scott is obviously doing the hosting today, so proud of you, mate. How's it feel?
Thank you. It feels good. It feels powerful. It's good, yeah. We're gonna be, so we're like changing some stuff up. Kind of like how The Last of Us changes stuff up from the game. I guess. So we're gonna be talking about season 2, episode 3 of The Last of Us. That just released. I think obviously it's Monday for us. So by the time you guys see this episode, it'll be more so Friday-ish. It's been a few days. Give us some time to stew in it, I guess. Just gonna be going through the details of the episode, the spoilers. Full spoiler warning ahead. If you've not seen this episode, then obviously look away now. Going to be going into some of the details on how it compares to the game, or at least what the episode covers, and obviously what bit by bit. Obviously, Patrick's going to go. You'll go through all the bits like we usually do, and I can have a good slagging off of what I didn't like, and so business as usual. So you want to take it from here?
Yeah. So got episode 3, and it's the aftermath of Jackson, and so everyone's just like recovering, and obviously from the events of the last episode at the very end, we've lost Joel, our main lead, who we're going to miss, but life moves on, and we have to continue with the characters we have right now. So it starts off the intro with Tommy with washing Joel's body, his corpse, and I don't know, that part of that scene that really got me was when he was like saying to Joel, like, "Give Sarah my love." I was like,
yes,
oh my god, that was so
yeah.
devastating to hear. And then you get the broken watch as well, the gift that Sarah gave Joel the day of the pandemic start, and so it all links back to the very beginning, and and now Joel is hopefully reunited with Sarah. If not, he's gone to hell.
Yeah, that's more like the option, to be fair. Maybe not. I don't know. Hopefully not. I like to think he is. It was. It kind of reminded me of some sort of medieval times, sort of like, mourning the dead thing with the cloth and the washing and everything. It was quite cool. But obviously an additional thing that was not in the game, of course, because Tommy was just there with Joel. Obviously in this version he wasn't. And then obviously in the game it just cuts to Ellie and Tommy talking about what happened as well. So that's obviously a big difference. But yeah, I thought it was a cool way to sort of reiterate the idea of how everyone reacts to Joel's death, and how it's obviously, a big deal for Tommy, of course, too, and not just Ellie. And I think giving him that one-on-one moment as well that the game didn't show was good too, because just like the previous episode with the defense of Jackson, it makes Tommy feel more like a proper character in this as well. So yeah, I like that a lot. It was a good addition.
Yeah, I know a lot of people won't agree with it, but I think I like that change that Tommy was in Jackson rather than with Joel, because I thought it fit much more better, since he was like the leader of the community, and he's kind of like the savior in the end when he was like killing that bloater.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What I was going to say is that obviously after that we then jump to Ellie, who's just woken up in the hospital, and she realizes everything, and she's like screaming. And as you know, that I've been listening to the HBO's Last of Us podcast and Neil Druckmann. They were talking about that scene, and it actually links with Ellie's PTSD, she suffers throughout in part 2 in the video game. So remember the part in the moment where Ellie's like squeezing through this like gap, and she sees like a clicker, and then all of a sudden the lights flicker, and then all of a sudden the clicker turns into Joel. So it's like signs of PTSD.
Right.
So they were saying about that linking, and that eventually Ellie's going to be going through this whole journey in season 2. Like, it's always going to be like going through her mind again, reliving that moment of Abby killing Joel, which I think is going to be very interesting to see, like how they're going to adapt those moments into the show. So it's going to be interesting to see that.
Yeah, of course.
But then obviously after that we jump to 3 months into the future, 3 months after the attack on Jackson, and the whole community's rebuilding. Tommy's helping, and Ellie's just recovered in the hospital. But before she could get checked out, she had to speak to Gail first, the psychiatrist. Is she a psychiatrist?
Therapist.
Therapist, psychiatrist, but either one. So she's like Catherine O'Hare, though. Like, I love her character, Gail. I think she's. I don't know why I find her funny, even though she's a serious character. I just find her so funny for the role, But what do you think of that moment though when she's like trying to talk to Ellie to see if she's all right? Clearly, she's not all right.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it gives. I mean, I don't know if I sort of agree with the choice of making Ellie sort of more lighter post the Joel's death, but I did like how it was trying to sort of give a more realistic portrayal of like you said, the PTSD and the trauma that you go through, and Gail now being there for Ellie gives her that reason to be in more episodes, because obviously if she was just going to be Joel's therapist and that would be it, then she wouldn't be any more episodes now, of course. So it makes her like actually have a reason to carry on being in this season, being there for Ellie and being more of an actual like Jackson character as well. So I do think it kind of is a kind of role that was made because they got this famous actress in it, really, but because it is kind of like a shoehorned in, like it just kind of just placed in like new character. But what we get so far, I do like, and it is cool. Also, I didn't realize this before. I'll show you this. I put this on our little group chat earlier. Then if you saw, there was a picture of the Tommy actor with her as well. And they did it because they did a movie.
Oh yeah,
together.
they did something before in the past, and they show like a before and after. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, so they worked together in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get it up bit, and then if that's.
Yeah, so before and after, like
a ring of light, of course, in the background, but yeah, like that's.
Right. So for the people who are not looking, who are listening, he's just showing us a photo of Catherine O'Hare and the actor who plays Tommy, who worked each other in the past years ago, and now they're working again on season 2 of The Last of Us. So reunited.
Yeah, it's really cool. Just like obviously Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal were reunited from after Game of Thrones, as well.
True, but they never. So, yeah. I don't think they were in the same room. Well, the characters never met in the show. They were like. They were in the same show, but they were never in the same scenes.
Okay. I was going to say, because obviously Tommy and Gail have a scene in this show, like this episode later on. I was confused what you meant. Yeah. So yeah, it was cool. But like, so no, I do like. I feel like I'm been like a Gail hater. I do like her. I just think it is like obviously a new. When you make new characters and that aren't in the previous thing like the game, you've got to obviously justify them being used and have good reason for it. So I think it definitely.
You can be a bit skeptical to start with the character. Like, this character wasn't part of the game. Why is she here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I'm loving her. I'm loving her character, and I can't wait to see more. I feel like we're gonna get more Gale in like flashbacks, because we see in the trailer that there is more scenes of Joel with Gale, but I think that we'll save that for like a later conversation for later episodes.
Yeah, that'd be cool though.
But tell you a scene we do get that is in the game is Ellie visiting Joel's house and going through his belongings. And the thing I want to point out is, have you noticed like in the episode when she's like looking at the box and Joel's watch is there, the watch that Sarah gave him, she just looks at it but pushes it aside, but then looks over and finds the revolver and takes that instead and not the watch. Cause,
but like it's very symbolic of choosing violence over love and wanting revenge.
Exactly what Mason said in the episode I've listened to, but it just shows that how Sarah links to Joel through the watch, the love of her daughter, as for Ellie knows Joel through violence, so that's why she took the gun.
Okay.
That's the way he said it in the episode, which I thought that makes a lot of sense as well.
Okay,
because you would have thought she'll take both the watch and the gun, but no, she takes the gun instead.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah.
But then Dina comes and
yes, yeah.
This is the bit.
It is that good. Like just real quick, just to go back to that scene, like the bit when obviously I like the bit in the game when she like holds his coat, like smells it.
Of course, I forgot about that moment.
It's very realistic, and obviously in this version, like Ellie cries a lot more, but then obviously she has to wipe her tears away because she doesn't want Dina to see her like that, and it's very like realistic in terms of grief and everything there. Obviously, I was going to say kind of like relatable, but I mean I'm quite lucky in the sense I haven't really had that same amount of grief happen yet, of course, or in a position where I need to hide it from somebody. But I like the idea that I'm really showing that Ellie is just trying to pretend to be okay. But like you said, obviously the showrunners and everyone else has said, they're going to show this PTSD later on to show that she's not okay and she's not dealing with it in a healthy sort of way. And I think you could argue that obviously her wanting to get revenge on Abby is kind of her excuse not to deal with the grief as well. I think maybe a little bit. So yeah, but no, that was cool. Good scene.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. Yeah, and like you said, like she had to wipe the tears because Dina was entering the scene and bringing a peace offering of cookies to reveal the truth to Ellie, that she lied to her to say that she knew nothing about Abby's group. And she waited for the day that she checked out of the hospital to tell her the truth, that she knew who they were and where they were from. So
So she knew the WLF, was it Washington Liberation Front?
Washington Liberation Front, aka the Wolves. And we find out in the show, Dina finds out more about them by Eugene, a character mentioned in the game but never seen in the game. So Eugene tells Dina about the group. They were originally part of Fireflies, I think, but then they turned against Fedra and became their own little group. Well, when I say own little group, they're not a little group; they're a massive group. And they call themselves the Washington Liberation Front, which we note as the Wolves. But then Dina tells the names as well, and then she says Abby's name. Ellie's just like so focused and like, Abby.
Yeah.
So now she knows who kills Joel, and she's like, I've got the name now, I've got the location, let's go.
Yeah, let's let's kick some ass. Let's kill every single person that she's close to, but we're not going to kill her. Because we're going to
save it to last.
I'm going to pretend to drown her in a lake and almost kill her, but then I'm going to get a vision of Joel playing his guitar and then decide to let her go after killing literally thousands of people.
I think you're going further into the story there, mate. I don't think we're going to see that part for season 3.
Oh yeah, that's spoilers. Yeah, that's spoilers. I said we're going to, but
I got to ask you. So, how do you feel like that change they did now with it being Dina the one to tell Ellie? Because originally it was Ellie who knew who the names were and where they were from. Or was it Tommy? I think it was Tommy. Tommy knew the names.
Yeah, Tommy knew the names. Yeah, and then obviously, he knew they were Washington Liberation Front, wasn't she? Because I remember like Ellie was like, "That's what you said that was on those patches," and everything. I don't know. I feel like the whole thing with the change, it's weird because I think it does definitely make Dina more useful. They've really made a point to give Dina more to do in this version, and I think obviously, and we even get to prove our point when we said how Dina's going to want to get revenge because she loved Joel too, and that's literally what she tells Ellie.
She does say that as well.
Yeah, like I loved him too, so I like that as well. But I just think, I don't know, I'm very conflicted. I feel like it undermines Tommy in some way. Like they undermine Tommy's angle of revenge, but then they also make him, like I said, more of a fleshed out character. And if anything, I think he's trying to get out of that cycle of violence and try and be different. Because he was saying because obviously in the game, he doesn't want to initially go with Ellie in this conversation because he says, to have the guys we need to do this smart, we believe in Jackson vulnerable. And he's obviously concerned about the town. And they do that here in this show, but it's more sort of understandable after what they've been through as well. So I feel like they do give Tommy more stuff to do as a character, but they also take away a lot of his stuff for revenge, I think, in the game. But I don't know, again, I'm not, as someone who sort of, thinks the game story could have been done better, it's weird to sort of, I don't know, I'm not quite sure how to feel, but I think that it's a good thing for the game, and also to connect Ellie and Dina together more, and to flesh out their relationship more, I think, as well. So I'm sort of like half and half,
Yeah, because I think I said this in the first episode, because I think a lot of people start to hate Tommy near the end of the second game, because obviously he's the one who advertisedly told Abby's group his name and Joel's name, and when you said they're more protected, they're more careful what they do, but basically they weren't playing it safe at that moment. But I do like this version of Tommy more than I do in the game. I love Tommy in the game, but I really do love Tommy in the show. And for the people who don't, then I don't care, because I do like Tommy in this version.
I do like him. I think I do like him in more. I like him more in this season than season 1, just because I felt like in season 1 it seemed like he was more like a new recruit of Jackson, and Maria sort of indoctrinated him and kind of, I think groom isn't the right word, but sort of manipulated him to join their group a little bit, and it seemed like she wasn't, I don't know, because they kind of hinted at him always sort of falling in line with people, but now him being the leader of Jackson and properly and everything, I do think it's a big improvement for his character, to be fair. I honestly I feel like he's one of the standouts of this season and so far on this show. So yeah.
Well, I feel like he has a big part to play in this season. Like you said, he wasn't a big part of season 1, but for season 2 and onwards, he will be a big part to the storyline,
Yeah.
which I hope. I hope they don't like decide to like he's only going to be in the beginning of Jackson, but he's not going to be at Seattle. I feel like that would be a terrible decision to do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Hopefully he is. Yeah.
But like you said before, like they had the town meeting as well to decide if they wanted to send groups after Abby's group. And tell you who makes a really big. He was only a brief character in the game, but Seth as well. He actually became a bit of a big part in this episode, which I was surprised.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I liked the scene. I liked how he sort of was like, you guys are all just victims, and But also, I really love the parallel of him. Parallel. That's the word. You know what I mean. Of the sort of wise kind of old man saying, "No, let's forgive, let's let go," and then Seth going, "Nah, screw that, let's kill them all," kind of thing. And that's obviously the duality of violence versus forgiveness, and what the themes of this season is, and what the themes of the game was, and stuff. So I like that being portrayed there. And obviously, Ellie's hearing both sides, a sort of angel devil on your shoulder. I think it's a Dangel Evil then. That's again. I think I'm having a stroke. I do apologise. If I drop dead, or they do Enos edit.
Always.
So yeah, I like that.
Finish the episode first before you do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's fine. Yeah. Just use this first. Use my work.
Yeah.
At least. So yeah. So I like that parallel. I like that sort of the thing there as well, which is cool. But also a lot of people made sense. I mean, it's funny because I was watching the episode with Lauren and she was going, why? Because everyone was talking about sort of why should they go after Joel when we've just lost all these people, and I said, well, he's the only person that was killed by people. They can't avenge the infected deaths. There's no need to do that. They just died. Whereas Joel was actually murdered by this other group. So that's why they deserve more justice. But you see both sides of it, to be fair. You understand why some people are concerned for the safety of their town. They can't take all the manpower to go off on in case someone, like I said, they're more infected, could attack, whatever. But you also, Seth also made a good point saying, well, if they came here once already, why not come back again? Obviously, we know from Abby and her characters that they're not going to come back. They've got no reason to come back. They only wanted Joel. But no one else really knows why. Because obviously Dean was put to sleep, so no one really knew why they killed Joel except for Abby and her group. So they don't know that. So that they do make good points on both sides as to why they should go there versus not as well. So I did like that side of it too, and that was a good dialogue scene. And also, did you catch that we don't actually see who voted yes and who voted no?
No, I'm really curious to know what Jesse did though.
Yeah, I was going to say,
because he's part of the council now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he voted no, but we're going to find that out later on.
Yeah, I feel like he said no, but he gave Ellie tips though, like don't go in angry, write what you want to say, which I thought, okay, he's trying to help her out. He's still being a friend, but did he actually vote for yes? But I don't know. Like you said, we'll probably find out later. But with Ellie giving her speech, it then links onto the next scene with Gail and Tommy talking, and Tommy's concerned with Ellie, and they're talking about the whole speech that Ellie did, and Gail's just like, oh yeah, she's lying. She's not a liar, but she's lying.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. It was very, obviously, because, she knows what she's doing, psychology and stuff as well. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. But also, I mean, that conversation, I didn't like how Tommy said how Joel was always lashing out with violence and stuff, because I do disagree. I think that, because, Joel definitely wasn't the best person and was a violent person, but he did become better, and I mean, maybe you could argue he became more selfish because of his love for Ellie, but I don't necessarily agree that he was lashing out. I think it was more like he would do anything to protect the ones that he loved, especially Ellie in that situation, because of how he's lost people before, and how he's so scared to lose them again. I wouldn't really say he's like lashing out the world. Maybe pre-Ellie, I would guess. Maybe like pre-Fang Ellie, when the 20 years he survived with Tommy and stuff, like that was when he became like a bad person. But if he means like post-finding Ellie and protecting her, I disagree. So that's when I'm starting to like, I don't know if I like that conversation, but I get like him obviously talking about, because obviously Joel still wasn't the best person. You know what I mean? He's not like a Rick Grimes kind of character who was like the noble leader in the apocalypse. He was a just a survivor who he'd do anything. It's like he says in the ambush, he was on both sides. He killed innocent people. Him and Tommy killed innocent people. So maybe that side of it is what he means. But I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of it. You know?
Yeah, but didn't Tommy say that he was always so worried about Ellie becoming like Joel?
Yeah.
And then Gail was saying about no, she won't. She's just like they've just been walking beside each other throughout the whole thing. So,
yeah, I like that. To be fair, well, you knew that Ellie was violent already from. Do you remember the Riley episode of the flashback?
exactly, yeah. So that's
She got into that
we get
fight
the
with
first
that like
glimpse.
other cadet or that other kid in the or was it the orphanage or was it the Firefly? No, it wasn't Firefly. She was with Fedra, wasn't she? At that point,
She's
yeah.
part of Fedra, but Riley was a friend, and then obviously they went out to curfew, and then they both got
Yeah,
bit.
so she already had, she already had violent
and that kind of
tendencies already. So, yeah.
and that like later on, like the question of Dina asking Ellie who's the first person she killed, and the first person she killed was Riley.
Yeah,
But obviously she doesn't tell her that. She said, "Can I tell you the second person I killed, which will be the lad that nearly killed Joel back in
which
in the first season.
Technically it wasn't true because she didn't kill that guy. She just shot him, and then Joel finished him off. In the game, she kills him. She shoots him in the head.
Yeah,
But in the show, she just shoots him in the back or something, and then Joel like tells him go back in the corner, and he finishes him off. So wasn't because obviously that's a bit from the game, isn't it? When she talks about the first person she killed, but in the show they did it differently, so they had to still include that bit, but it wasn't quite the same. So it's like I was like, Ellie, you're kind of lying here, kind of pretending. Oh yeah, I killed him. Sure, you know, you're kind of lying here, but you left the part out where you had to run away afterwards, and Joel Joel finished the dude off. But okay, sure.
she is a big liar, Ellie, and I feel like she's just gonna be doing it a lot more because that's Ellie. Though she lies all the time, and it's like that from season
that
1.
Gets from Joel. That she gets that from Joel. To be fair, yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
But tell you the bit that I really liked for this episode, and I'm going back to Dina now because Ellie's like packing up and she's getting ready to go out and kill Abby in Seattle. But then Dina comes in saying like, "So, which way are you gonna go? You got medical supplies, all this and that." And then she brings this sheet in, and she's already planned ahead of what they need to take with her. So she's strategically planned out carefully, like the robe and the supplies that they need as well. And for this like world they live in right now, you need to think like that. And I don't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I never think too much about that type of stuff when I watch these shows, but to see that scene, I'm just like, God, that's actually well prepped. That like planning ahead.
Yeah.
But no, and then I kind of like that though. And
Dina, just say like to me, Dina just becomes like a standout. I think in this show so far. Like I really like.
She does, yeah.
Isabel Moss. I can't remember Mercer. I can't remember. I'm not quite sure how.
But it was the right. Isabella something. But yeah.
Yeah, but she's really good. She's one of the best castings I would say for this because she just like.
I agree. 100%
do like
agree.
a lot. Yeah. And like I said, she's more useful and everything in this version, I think, and as well. And in this, yeah, I do like her a lot. But
Seth helps him to get out of the Jackson as well, which big episode for Seth, innit?
I get
helping out Ellie.
Yeah.
I know.
Big ups, MVP in this one.
I know, yeah. And then
it was funny.
I feel like they kind of patch things up in the end, both Ellie and Seth. Well, Seth had his hand out to shake with Ellie, and Ellie pauses for a moment, but then, you've helped me this far, I'll shake your hand. So they're kind of like equal right now at that moment.
So remember, guys,
it's okay
to be remember, guys, it's okay to be homophobic as long as you give the person tools to go on their murder revenge plot the day a few months later.
Yeah.
That's no. No, that's a terrible message.
But link it to the topic though, because like obviously Dina and Ellie are traveling together to Seattle, and there's that moment when they're in the tent, and then Dina brings up the whole kiss, from the New Year's
that
party.
That part was dumb. I'm sorry, that was stupid. Can I say? I want to have a go. I just think look, that conversation made sense when it was before Joel died in the game, and they were just talking about the kiss after a normal patrol when they're okay. But now I'm like, I feel like saying to him, what are you doing? Like I feel like saying, do you guys know where you guys are? Like you're in a tent in the woods, camping on the road, because you're going to Seattle to murder a group of people who killed your surrogate father, and you're rating a kiss you had 3 months ago now in this version because they did a time jump. I think it's kind of dumb. It felt like again, it's one of those conversations that. It's one of those things where it's an iconic bit of the game that's memorable, so they had to have it in here. But in the context of the show now, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it would have made more sense if they talked about it, like, I don't know, later on. But obviously they couldn't do it in the show now because Dina went on patrol with Joel. so they couldn't have that conversation where they would do it because obviously Jesse was with Ellie in the show, so like they had to do it here. But I just don't think it made any sense. Like it just, you know what I mean. So that's the main issue I have with Ellie as a character in this version is personality wise, she's no different now post Joel's death. I know she's gonna show the PTSD and stuff, but yeah, that's an issue I have with it a little bit. Is it is kind of silly, but that's just my opinion.
I can understand from that perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Big rant there. I just
no. Go for it, mate. This is the whole point of this podcast. Giving out over.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought when I watched that scene with Lauren. I was like, I had to hold my tongue because she hates when I talk with chalk during programs. But I was like, what are they doing? Why are they talking about this? Is dumb. Like, I'm sorry, but this is stupid.
But you could tell that in this show, they're trying to show that Dina is does have more feelings to Ellie than just a friend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but we'll get into that type of topic later in the series because I feel like we will get more stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want to finish off. I want to finish it off now because at the end of the episode we get introduced to a new group, the second big group in the show. So we know about the Wolves, who are called the Washington Liberation Front. Now we're introduced to the second group, the Seraphites, who tell you what, they look the part they're in the show because the Seraphites obviously have their big leather. Yeah, they have the scars. Even their young ones have scars as well. And they're a cult in the show, in the game, and obviously in the show. And they're walking down in the woods in groups. And the thing I like about the Seraphites is like how they communicate. You know, like they signal to one another by whistling. And that's something I like, but hated in the game though, because he's just like, you hear a whistle, and like, are they coming from behind or? I don't know.
Don't they shoot arrows and stuff instead of guns as well? Like
they rely more on arrows and hammers in the game, and clearly they're doing it in the show as well. And then we have obviously the lead of the pact with their daughter as well, who's like asking him question after questions, but then they hear the whistle of something coming, and then the girls ask, demons, wolves. See, made it sound like it's much worse than demons. So obviously demons must be the infected to them, but then the wolves is obviously the Washington Liberation Front, and then we go back to that same spot with Ellie and Dina finds them, and they've all been dead, all been shot in the back, and we see the little girl and her dad together. I was like, oh, I find that sad, but at the same time, I'm like, I know what the Seraphites are like, and I know what the wolves are like. They're both bad groups with both different beliefs, but I just thought that's a gruesome scene as well.
Yeah, like you see, I like how you don't actually show the killing; you just see the aftermath, which is quite cool. There's like a horror sort of vibe to it, and it builds up the WLF as like this force to be reckoned with. And you think, oh, but you know what has Ellie got herself into now? And
then you see them at the end. They're just because at the end they're not a big small group; they're a big army as well, going down the street all in armor with tanks as well. So they're not a group to be messed with.
No, not at all. Yeah, but that's the thing that I think I remember Angry Joe putting this out in his review just recently, where he said how like Abby mentioned that they don't kill people who can't defend themselves. So it's like, did they really have to kill this kid? I know she had a weapon in her hand, and she had like a hammer or something, but it's like you could argue they're going too far with this, of course, even if they are at war or something. So like some people said maybe one of the character arcs Abby's going to have, maybe not in this season, but next season, if she's not in as much later on, she's going to realise that their group they're a part of aren't as good as she thought they were, and that's why she might break off and do other things she might do in the game. I don't know, who knows. So that's quite a little theory there too, but obviously that remains to be seen as well. But that was pretty cool. But I did like that, and obviously visually there's some great stuff with them. The Seattle, I love the moss and grass on the skyscrapers, all that stuff there. Like I love all those things. And you see obviously all the army and the scale of it too is really cool. And even like the likes of vehicles, because obviously Jackson don't have any like vehicle like cars, and so they have horses to do. So to see that, it's like, oh, these guys are like more advanced than them as well.
Yeah,
which is cool to show that as well. And obviously vehicles and fuel is so rare now. It's like when you see people having it, you think, oh shit, these guys aren't messing around, you know.
No,
so
they're
I did
not.
like that. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
But just seeing Seattle though is just like, right, we are now entering the big part of the series now, and this is going to last us for 2 seasons now. So we got 4 more episodes left. Yeah, 4 more episodes left for this season, and then we'll go on to season 3. And all that's
Yeah.
going to cover in Seattle now. So this is the main location now for the whole
Yeah.
show. Obviously, we have the few flashbacks and that, but no,
Yeah.
this is where things get interesting. And then we've obviously got the teaser for next week's episode. So it goes more
Yeah.
into like Isaac, who is another character we'll be talking about
Oh yeah, of
next
course. Yeah,
week's
Jeffrey
episode.
Wright. Yeah,
Jeffrey
I'm excited
Wright,
to
the
see that,
leader
to be
of
fair,
the
'cause I just
WLF.
yeah, love him as an actor. To be fair, ever since Westworld, so like to see that. Well, I was going to ask you something. I've forgotten now. Do you think? Oh yeah, when do you think? Because obviously, we know from the trailers, Pedro Pascal is going to come back as Joel again. When do you think they're going to show it? Because I think it was important to show in this episode that we don't see Joel. I think we need to mention the grave. Did we talk about the grave? Ellie go see the grave yet?
Oh no, we haven't mentioned that part. No,
Yeah.
obviously with the coffee beans she puts on a grave because she knows that Joel
Yeah.
loves coffee.
He
Yeah,
loved
that was a
coffee,
nice
yeah.
moment as well.
Also, did you catch at the end all like the music from part 1 as well?
Yes, I know. I heard that.
Cool. So it's
Gustavo, you done it again.
yeah, and they really show like Joel's gone, he's dead. I think episode either 4 or 5 is gonna be some flashbacks. I think personally,
Yeah,
because I don't. Think
I
they're
have a
gonna
feeling
wanna
5.
wait too long. Yeah, do you think
I think
episode
5. Yeah, because
Yeah.
in the teaser trailer, it looks like that both Dina and Ellie have arrived at the cinema, which are in the first or second episode, I'd say, is their main hideout
Yeah.
in Seattle.
Right.
So I think once they rested up, I think that's when Ellie will reflect on like memories.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Because I feel like they're going to struggle to have like the show carry on without Pedro Pascal or like a strong lead. Because I don't think I don't know if I think Bella Ramsey as Ellie is going to be strong enough to lead this show. I'm not too sure because I'm on the fence. I think like again like Angry Joe's video said as well. Like the people who are just being like harsh to Bella Ramsey and just criticizing her, that's all gross and that's all awful. But I also don't think that like I'm of the mindset of like I think I told you this before. I think I might set an episode where Bella Ramsey is good as Ellie. I don't think it's one of these performances that only she could have played this role. I think it's one of these. I think other actresses probably could have done just as good of a job, if not better. And yes, it's not just yes. They don't look like anything like Ellie. They don't. But it's not about that. It's about the acting wise. And there's sometimes I've really liked their performance as Ellie in season 1, especially the winter sections as well. There's other times I think she's unrecognisable as the character. So right now I'm sort of like half and half with that as well too. So I feel like there's sometimes I really like her, other times I'm like, I don't know. So
yeah, I do get
I'm
that.
not sure about how I feel about
Some
them.
certain moments of that, like some moment felt a bit cringy at certain scenes and some of the stuff she says.
Yeah, like with the stuff with Jessie, like the back and forth banter and stuff, and trying to be funny still. It's like you're not the same because they're still acting like 14-year-old Ellie. There's no personality difference now. That's the issue I have. Is you're not the same person when you were 14 when you were 19. Like you're just not. And especially once she's like Ellie's gone through that trauma of Joel's death, she should be more like serious and different, like she is in the game. And I feel like in this version they're not doing that really. So time will tell. Hopefully they prove me wrong. But I feel like right now in terms of like the acting and stuff, I'm on the fence about it. And that's why I'm saying about when they're going to bring Pedro back, because I don't believe they're going to be able to keep the same viewership either. I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if ratings go down because people don't want to watch after Joel. But we'll see. Hopefully they carry on the consistency though. But,
yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this discussion. But yeah,
what do you think? So, would you think obviously not as good as episode 2? I think we're kind of right that it wasn't.
Well,
gonna
I
be
knew
as
this.
good.
I knew the third episode was going to be like a slow paced one because like that second episode felt like a finale more than a random episode.
This was okay. This was an okay episode, I would say at most.
Yeah, I agree.
I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, but I feel like the next episode will be better because obviously with the teaser trailer we got, there is infected involved, and whenever there's infected involved, you know it's going to be a big scene. So,
definitely
looking forward to that. Yeah,
should be cool.
But yeah,
shall I close off?
Well, you started the intro, mate. You have to close it off now. So
okay, well there we go, guys. That is our review / breakdown of episode 3. I just want to apologise. My camera's been very shaky because my obviously my setup for today has been very different. But obviously next week next time should be back to normal. But yeah, so I do apologise for that in advance. But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this podcast, enjoy this review. Let us know what you guys think about what's going to happen in the future episodes in the comments. Do you think they're going to keep certain things in the games the same? What do you think they're going to keep the same? What do you think they're going to keep different? Or keep different? Change, make difference? Nearly there. And obviously, yeah. And what do you think is going to happen in the finale? Do you think we're going to at what point in the game do you think this season is going to cover? Do you think we're going to get the confrontation between Abby and Ellie in the season? Do you think it's going to end on a cliffhanger? Do you think we're going to end on a thing? Obviously, I think I've got a pretty rough idea where they're going to end it, but obviously we want to know what you guys think too. And obviously, if there's anything you want us to mention in the next episode as well that we missed here, please do let us know as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's me being a mini bow.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just ruined your outro there. But no.
Shorts.
Yeah. Thanks. See you later, guys.
See you later, guys. Take care. Bye.